I was trying to use my phone, but for some reason I couldn't get it to work. So we're just going to do it this way. So we're going to ferment ginger, honey, and lemons today, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to move stuff around just because I expected to do it on my mobile and I set it up for that. So I'm just going to move it. I'll be right back. We might get briefly interrupted because my husband's probably going to come home. And I'm going to have my daughter here too. So anyways, I'll put the description in. I had it all set up on my mobile, like I said, and it just didn't work out. So I have 2 books of reference right here, an encyclopedia of herbal medicine. And I bookmarked what I'm going to go over in the live chat. And then I have Herbal Almanac 2026, which I did a little book review. But I'm going to reference this because it has some information on fermenting. Okay. Like I said, just let me adjust since I had to adapt. I haven't gone live for a long time, so it's whatever. I'm going to put my hair up so it doesn't get in the way. I would suggest you do the same if you have really long hair. Just because we don't want our hair getting into anything. So I'm just going to clip it up. And maybe I can lean this back a little bit more so people can see. Hi, Jane. How are you, sweetheart? I'm going to move us because for some reason I couldn't go live on my mobile. They've changed it, so I couldn't figure it out for the life of me. So hopefully we got enough juice. If I need to, I'll plug in my laptop. But like I said, get your help. I won't put in the description generally what you'll need. I had it all set up on the other thing, like I said. And so we're just going to get started. I have here, I washed my lemons. So I don't know if I'll use all of these. So I have my lemons. And then over here, I have we're going to use some peppermint, which is really good for digestion and inflammation as well, and stomach stuff. So I'm going to put some ginger and lemons and peppermint, and then we have honey. You're going to want raw, unfiltered, organic honey. I'll put that all in the description box of the honey that you'll need. But you're going to probably want raw, local honey, unfiltered, and that's really good if you have allergies because it helps you as well to calibrate to the things that are in your environment, especially if you have seasonal allergies and stuff. I've heard beekeepers and farmers also recommend that, and that's who recommended it to me, to eat local honey if you have allergies to things in your environment, and it just helps. Okay, so I got that all soaked. I pre-soaked it so it'd be all washed so we could just get started. So you're going to take all your ginger and your stuff, and I have it all in here. You are going to need, I'm going to use this jar, but I eat a lot of it. So this is I think a 64 ounce, but make sure they're BPA and you get them from a place and it says that on it. These are Ball. Usually these are really good. So I'm going to use that one. And then you will need, this one came with lids. You can use the lids. If you're going to use the metal lids, then I would recommend getting parchment paper. So the metal and the honey and all that has a layer of protection between it. So you know what I mean? It doesn't contaminate anything. And you're perfectly fine. If you're fermenting honey and all that stuff, just make sure you wash your jar and the sanitizer and everything inside your washer. Or you can use the double boiler method where you boil it in the pot. You don't have to do it for this, though, as long as you have a dishwasher and a sanitary rinse. So you're going to have your jar, comes with the lid, I just got these at Walmart. And then you do not have to have all these things. I just have all this stuff because I do this myself. So I have fermenting lids, which makes it easier when you want to ferment. You can just, when you're fermenting, just kind of, I honestly put those like this. And that way when you can just, when you're burping it, because you're going to want to burp it every day and watch it, and you'll be able to tell it's fermenting because it'll start bubbling. And then it'll become thinner too as the fermentation process goes on. And after 2 weeks, you are able, if you want to slow the fermentation process down, you could throw it in your fridge, and that's a signal to slow the fermentation process down. And then I have weights, which I just bought these off Amazon. It's nothing crazy. I think I've spent like $20 on them. You do not need them, like I said. Just make sure that you're diligent every day if you're doing that, burping it and checking it, to make sure that your ginger and lemons and all that stuff stay under the honey. It's like with any fermentation, because it can spoil. And if you notice anything is wrong, just throw the whole batch away, okay? Don't risk it. I mean, it shouldn't, as long as you're diligent about checking on it every day. You can also add, you can add whatever you want, and all the lemons, all this stuff is antioxidant. It helps with digestion. It helps with the gut-brain access. So when you have stuff going on with your gut, it's like a second brain. And you have more neurons in your stomach than you do in your head. So by changing what we eat and making sure that we're eating fresher foods and lots of leafy greens changed my life. So that's what it was originally supposed to be called, the journey to health, my personal journey to health. So I'm just going to share my journey and how I've got my health on track, because I suffered from a lot of inflammation and stuff like that. And I can't take anti-inflammatories and all those things. So I had to figure out ways to actually heal my body that were not so aggressive as some of the pharmaceuticals are. I'm not saying that doctor's bad. I'm not a doctor. This is just what I did personally to help my health, okay? So you can use cinnamon as well if you want to add it to the mix, and whole cloves. You can add whole cloves as well. Just make sure you're resourcing your products where you get, and I know that where I got these are a good resource. So we have our ginger, our lemons, and I'm going to kind of like scoosh you down because you don't need to see me. We're going to chop all of this up, and then I'm going to show you how to layer it inside your jar. Let me throw my keys right there. They're in my pocket. I need so you're just going to need your breadboard, a good knife, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on a little bit at a time, because we're just going to add it to our jar as we go. Let's see, knife. Okay. And we need our honey. Okay, honey. You grab our jar. We're going to set our jar right there. And I'm kind of just going to do this like this. Okay. So I'm going to take the honey, and you're going to want to coat the bottom. And mind you, if you do add cloves, I believe it will make them turn blue, which is natural from the acidity and all the things that you're putting into it. Okay, so as you can see, I got a nice little layer on the bottom. Make sure you coat the bottom really good. Okay. So we got the first coat, a little good half an inch there on the bottom. And then I'm going to cut off these parts right here and just throw them in the sink. And then you're just going to finely slice your lemons. Make sure you get all the seeds out of them as well. I honestly just have a bowl right here that I can throw all all of the product that I'm not going to put inside my jar. So I just want to make sure I get all the seeds out. I mean, clean your stuff. All this stuff is clean, so I can just go right into this. Okay. And I'm just popping out the seeds. And then I'm just layering this bottom as such. The lemons. And I have a towel right here that I brought just for my hands so I could do this because I knew my hands were going to get sticky. So FYE, have a hand towel on hand. And then as you've got the first layer in there, I always go in and do a layer on top of the lemons. Excuse my clock as it goes off. Just want to make sure that each layer is coated in between. I'm going to chop all of our ginger up. I mean, some people peel it. I do not. I just wash it really well in a baking soda water mix and make sure I get all anything that could possibly be on it or on the peel. So we're just going to chop up our first layer of ginger after doing the first layer of lemons. And just generously throw it in there. Doesn't have to be perfect or pretty. How are you doing, Jane? Are you still here? Check for seeds. I didn't pop those seeds out. I have to remember to do that. I'm just going to lay these lemon slices on top of that ginger. And I'm just not going to put all of them because I'm going to layer different things. I'm going to see what you're saying. So just watching for the magic. Oh, thank you for being here. I know I haven't been on for a really long time. I've really enjoyed doing stuff with you and just grateful you came in or hanging out with me. Okay. And then we're just going to finish chopping this piece of ginger up. And we'll chop some more lemons up. I'm going to layer a little more honey on top of that. And just layer as you go. Okay. I should just take the lid off this. I don't really need the lid on there. Just preventing me from actually getting the honey out. So I would just take the lid off. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to share all this stuff with you guys. This is a powerhouse to me. And honestly, I don't even know. I feel like things align to you when you're ready. And one thing I've discovered in my journey is that, I mean, I felt like for a long time I was healing the psychological, and then I was dealing with the spiritual and the mind and the body. And when one of those is out of whack, I think it throws us all out of whack. And so when you have like disharmony in your body, because one aspect's like really out of whack or something like that. Oh, come on. Oh, I'm trying not to get it all over the sides of the jar, but maybe I should just turn this one upside down and start with the other bottle. I really want to lick my fingers, but I cannot do that right now. No licking fingers. What did you say? And I have... Okay. Yeah, that's actually a good point. A lot of this stuff helps with that. Changing your diet, including more probiotic. This is a natural probiotic as well. So I don't do yogurts really. This is my alternative to doing yogurts because it's a natural probiotic, anti-inflammatory, boosts your vitamin C. It helps with your immune system. And when you have chronic inflammation like that, you want to eat gut healthy fermented foods. So that's what kind of the series that I'm going to be working on is Journey Back to Health Through Foods. This is just something, and as we know, mint is also really soothing for that. If you want more of like a vitamin and it's all really good. If you want to boost and amplify, you can add the cloves and the cinnamon as well. It also amplifies all these. Like I said, it'll change the color of the honey. It'll make it darker, and the cloves will probably go blue. That's a natural reaction to the process. So don't be freaked out if it does that. Because I remember the first time I did this, I didn't use mature ginger and I didn't realize. So I had to find where I could get that at because the lemons turned all the ginger pink. And I was like, why is it doing that? So it's just a natural reaction to the acidity, I think, in the lemons and the process of being fermented. This is nice too because you can put it inside your fruit smoothies if you want to, which is really nice. You can put it in your fruit smoothies. If you choose, you want to put it on top of your cereal in the morning, or if you like fruit, you could put it on top of your fruit in the morning. That's what one of my girlfriends does. I need a big spoon so I can smush all this down in there. As you can see, we're just layering that, and we'll continue to layer it. I'm going to throw some mint in here. This is good for cold and flu season as well. I mean, it's jam-packed with just so much good stuff. I really, really, really love it. And I got all my girlfriends doing it, and it balances out your hormones as well. Does your whole family use this? No. I'm the only one who does this in my house. Nobody else. I'm kind of the one who does all the more healthy. I mean, my husband's healthy in his own way, and he has his own way to be healthy, but I feel like I'd recommend this to anybody who is looking for something that helps with inflammation, stomach stuff. I just found this is what worked for me, because I think if it's not an issue for you, then maybe it wouldn't be something you'd look at. Unless you're into it, I guess. You don't have to suffer from stuff. Some people are just naturally better at this stuff. I had to learn to do this stuff because I didn't eat really healthy for a long time, and I wasn't a really healthy person for a long time, and it wasn't like I was taught these things, and the way I was raised was not eating like this. I mean, my mom tried to feed us nutritious things, but I think just the generation and that transition from going from farming and more like grocery stores being more of the frequent thing, it's changed a lot of our society and how we get our foods. And so natural markets or farmers markets are good places to go, and they also support local farmers if you can do that, or buy organic at like the health food stores. We have a couple here that I go to. Bugger's juicy. Okay. I don't know how far I'm just gonna fill it up as far as I can with as much, because you have to make sure that you can cover whatever you put in there. And I might need more honey. Even though I had 2 jars of it, I might need more honey. So I'm not going to overdo it, and I can just also the rest of my other one that I have in the fridge with just lemons. And I always go over how I did that one too, if you guys ever want to. But yeah, you're going to want to it's pretty thin. I just thinly slice. And you can also just eat the ginger if you don't want to, and you can just strain it and eat the gingers. I don't know if you can do that, but actually, I wouldn't recommend doing that. But you can just eat the ginger out of it, or you could throw the honey on stuff. But I'd recommend throwing the ginger in like your smoothies or in your food as you're eating. If you want it, you can throw it on the honey on your toast. You can also throw turmeric in this concoction if you want. It just depends, and just be mindful with turmeric. You do have to watch some things that you eat because it can react to things. That just adds like the cloves and the turmeric and those things just add more warmth, which I'd recommend for more cloves and turmeric and all those things more for like cold and flu season and stuff like that. This is just an all-around probiotic, gut healthy, jam-packed with vitamin C. And I did this for a while. I've done this for months now. I don't even remember how many, and it took a little bit for it to work, but it does eventually work. And you will notice a difference in your energy. You should. Okay. Now that we've got that high enough up, you can actually see as I feel this. Okay. I put my other pieces of peppermint in there to infuse this. And this one really should be good for the gut, and also by adding the peppermint, because both peppermint and the ginger are good for tummy stuff. That's what I started doing. I started eating ginger bites is where I started. And then it just spiraled from there. In the way I looked at it, and also got it in my body. Because I didn't want a bunch of added sugars. I wanted something that had natural sugars. But yeah, pretty simple to do. It's nothing like really complicated. I mean, you can measure it if you want, but this is pretty easy to do by eye. I'm just going to push all that down in there. And then I'll probably add a little more ginger. I'm going to turn this the other way because I need that honey to go down in there so I can squeeze it after the bottle. All right. I'm just going to finish putting this a little bit more of this lemon. I think I calculated that pretty good. Once you do this, you kind of get a feel for it, and it's just practice. You can make them as thin as you want, as thick as you want. You can cut it up in smaller pieces. I like to have a piece like this, but keep in mind, I think you can eat about 2 grams of ginger a day. You all know it's a good palate clearer too when you want to clear your palate. I'm going to chop these up just a little bit because those are huge. Throw these lemon slices in there. Trying to make sure I don't chop my fingers off. This sucker is sharp. Okay. That didn't really work the way I wanted it to. Just all went in the lid. Part of it just went in the lid. All right. Well, so trying to tap it down, I guess. Okay. We're just gonna leave that one alone. And that one's that one's my little older one. So this one I bought fresh. But you're going to want to leave about an inch in the jar of breathable room. I think I'll just put the rest of this in my other jar because I don't think I'm going to have enough. I don't know if I'll have enough honey to cover it. If I don't, I have to probably go grab another bottle at the store. Hopefully. I need to build a contraption so this could just I wonder if it will work. There we go. We'll just set the jar like that. That works. Then I don't have to sit there and hold it. I'm going to just let the rest of it drain in there. I wonder if 10 seconds in the microwave. Make that thin out a little. Alright. Just going to let that. Okay. Just going to let that drain all in there. sticky buggers. Excuse me. All right. I mean, I am gonna have to go get more honey, but that's fine. For the most part, it was more about showing you the process and how to do it. And I can just go over here and throw in my weight. I can take my weight. A couple of them, so just until I get the other bit of honey. Just want to make sure I can submerge that as much as possible. You have it all submerged under the water, or not water, nah, the sweet little honey. There's still more in here, but I can't get it out, so I'm going to have to wash these out and soak them so I can recycle them. And the nice thing about this is if you chop up your rinds, I usually just throw them in there. They sharpen the blades in your disposal, and it also disinfects your disposal. I have a lot of stuff in this right there. But yeah, that's in general how you do it. And I think I'm going to go grab some more honey, but I'm going to throw some cinnamon sticks inside mine. Just going to throw like 3 in there. That also, it just boosts all this stuff. And I really like cinnamon personally, so I want to put a little warmth into it, I guess. All this stuff is pretty spicy, but if you are going to put cloves in it, only put a little bit, use them sparingly because it is pretty strong, just so you know. And I will do an update to show you when it starts fermenting and bubbling and show you what that kind of looks like. And yeah, so that's the process. And thank you for being here, Jane, for hanging out. And to everybody who's going to watch this, I hope you enjoy. And I will see you. I'm not sure which day I'm going to do another live on, but I will be adding to the series of A Journey to Health Through Food. So I hope you guys have a lovely evening, and I love you all so much. You're so welcome. I love you, and I will talk to you later, Jane, personally. But yeah, I love you guys, and I hope you have a really good one and you enjoyed this video. All right, bye for now.